Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into a really critical issue in academic life, burnout. And look, this is more than just feeling tired after a long week or a tough project. It's a real challenge that can seriously undermine your passion, your work, and just your overall well-being. Okay, this quote right here, it really gets to the heart of it. Burnout isn't just some buzzword. It's what happens when you get stuck in a state of stress that just never ends. Seriously, picture yourself treading water, using up all your energy just to stay afloat, but the shore never gets any closer. That's what it feels like. And it is way more common than you'd probably guess. A huge global survey on researcher mental health found that a staggering 36%, yeah, that's more than a third of researchers, feel overwhelmed by their job very often. So if this is hitting home for you, trust me, you are absolutely not alone. So in this explainer, we're going to map out the problem, but more importantly, the solutions. We'll kick things off by defining what burnout actually is, then we'll look at the root causes, and from there, we'll get into a practical toolkit full of immediate coping strategies, sustainable long-term habits, and why finding a support system is so crucial.
All right, first things first. If you're gonna fight an enemy, you have to know what it looks like. So what exactly is academic burnout?
Well, it's a lot more than just feeling tired after pulling an all-nighter. The World Health Organization actually recognizes burnout as a specific syndrome defined by three key things. First, there's that deep, bone-deep physical and mental exhaustion. Second, a sense of cynicism, where you kind of lose your enthusiasm for the work. And third, this persistent feeling of inadequacy, where you start to really doubt your own abilities. And it's so important to not mix this up with the normal stress that just comes with the territory in academia. You know, stress often involves over-engagement, that feeling of urgency, of hyperactivity to hit a deadline. Burnout, though, is the total opposite. It's characterized by disengagement. You're not hyperactive, you feel helpless. And the damage isn't just physical, it's a deep, emotional exhaustion. So, what's really telling here is how these warning signs can pop up in pretty much every part of your life. Emotionally, it might be a total loss of motivation or just feeling irritable all the time. Cognitively, maybe you can't focus or you're procrastinating like crazy. Physically, it can be chronic fatigue, headaches. And socially, it often means you start pulling away from the very people who could help you out. Spotting these signs early is your first line of defense.
So what's fueling this fire? You know, it's so easy to think burnout is some kind of personal failing, like you're just not tough enough. But the reality is, it's often a completely natural response to a deeply demanding environment. It's not just you, it's the system.
The causes are this complex mix of systemic pressures and our own internal stuff. You've got the external publish or perish culture and job insecurity pushing from the outside. And then internally, things like perfectionism and imposter syndrome, which, by the way, research shows is especially tough for first-generation scholars, just add fuel to the fire. It's so clear that burnout is a product of both the person and the environment they're in. Okay, so when you're right in the thick of it, feeling completely overwhelmed, right now, you need first aid, not a 5-year plan. What can you actually do in the moment to get some relief? And here is a huge mindset shift. Stress itself isn't the enemy. It's a natural biological response. The real problem is getting stuck in that response. So your goal isn't to eliminate all stress, that's impossible, but to move through it and tell your body that the threat is over. In other words, to complete the stress cycle. This breaks it down perfectly. A stressor hits, like a deadline, and your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline. Often, our knee-jerk reaction is to procrastinate or binge-watch a show, right? It gives you a little temporary relief, but it leaves all those stress hormones just swimming around in your system. Burnout is what happens when we get stuck there. The solution is to actively push through to step 5 and complete the cycle with some kind of physical or emotional release.
And here are some incredibly simple, low-effort ways to do exactly that. Take a 5-minute micro break. Go for a short walk. Just journal your anxieties out onto paper. A few minutes of focused breathing can do wonders. Or hey, do something to release oxytocin, the love hormone, like cuddling a pet or just dancing to your favorite song. Anything that signals to your body that you're safe.
So these first aid tricks are absolutely essential for managing in the moment. But to really, truly protect yourself from burnout, we have to think bigger. So how do we shift from just coping to actually building a sustainable academic life?
This next part is all about playing the long game. It's about building systems, routines, and mindsets that are going to protect your energy and well-being over the entire marathon of your career, not just the next sprint to a deadline. First, and this is a huge one for academics, You have got to let go of perfectionism. Perfection is paralyzing. Instead, embrace the idea of the ugly first draft. The goal is simply to make progress, not to create a flawless masterpiece on the first try. It lowers the stakes, and counterintuitively, it actually makes the final product better because you actually finish it.
You know, the flexibility of academic life is a total double-edged sword. Without a clear 9 to 5, work can just bleed into every single corner of your life. You have to be intentional about it. Set clear boundaries, establish office hours, create rules for your weekends, and schedule actual digital detox time where you are not checking email.
You cannot do everything, and you shouldn't even try. You've got to be realistic. Use simple tools like a must-do, should-do, nice-to-do list to focus your energy where it truly matters. And honestly, time blocking your week to protect your research time is your superpower here.
Finally, and this might just be the most important shift of all, stop thinking of rest as a luxury or a sign of weakness. Rest is a non-negotiable part of your work. This is about choosing self-compassion over toxic productivity. So prioritize good sleep, cultivate hobbies that have nothing to do with academia, schedule exercise. A rested mind isn't slacking off, it's getting ready to be brilliant.
Building this kind of sustainability isn't something you can or even should do in isolation. Your support network is one of the most powerful tools you have to protect yourself against burnout. Seriously, you are not alone in this.
And that support can come from all over the place. Peer groups get your daily struggles in a way nobody else can. Mentors can offer that crucial big-picture perspective. And please, don't forget the formal resources your institution provides, like counseling services. Build a diverse network that you can really lean on. This is such a critical piece of advice. Your PI or your direct supervisor is one important resource, but they shouldn't be your only one. You should actively build what some people call a mentoring committee, a whole group of people with different experiences who can offer you diverse perspectives and create a much wider safety net for your career.
So, at the end of the day, the message here is simple, but it's really powerful. Yes, the systemic pressures of academia are real, and they're intense, but you are not powerless. You have the agency to build routines, mindsets, and support systems that create a sustainable, fulfilling career. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's a skill you can build. Okay, let's make this practical. Don't leave here feeling like you have to overhaul your entire life tomorrow. Instead, just ask yourself this. What is one small, manageable change you can make today to invest in your own well-being? Maybe it's a 5-minute walk this afternoon. Maybe it's setting one boundary about checking email tonight. Or maybe it's just sending a quick text to a colleague. Just start there.